coming, Adetayo, Alberta, Canada. That's B from Alberta, Canada. Fantastic one, fantastic one. All right. So before we dive into it, I would also love to understand if today is the first time we are joining this session, or if we've been in subsequent sessions, so that we'll get to tailor down the exact masterclass to fit people that are joining for the first time, or also maybe lead us into talking to you guys like people that have been with us before now. So just tell me if today is the first time you're joining this session, just type a 1 in the chat box. If you've been here before, can type 2 or any number that you deem fit. But if today is the first time of being on this call with us, please type a 1 in the chat box so that I will understand you very well. Amazing. I can see a couple of 1 in the chat box. Can see Lydia from Ghana. Okay, 11122. Benjamin, that means you've been with us before now. That's amazing. All right, so guys, let's keep it coming so that I'll understand our own demographics and how we've been following us before now. Okay, we'll have roughly 25 people on the call. We are still expecting a lot more people to join us. So before they join us, let me just get to introduce the topic to all of us here on the call again. So basically, the topic for today is how Scrum Masters leverage JIRA for projects, right? So I don't know how many of us here that have heard about JIRA before. Is there anybody on the call that have heard about JIRA? Remember, I told you before that this masterclass is going to be conversational, even though you're not speaking to me, but you are chatting to me. So if you're on this call and you've heard about JIRA before, just type a yes or a no so that we'll understand clearly. Type a yes or a no. If you know who Scrum Masters are, and if you know what JIRA is, just type a yes or a no so that I will understand all of us clearly. All right, I can see a couple of no's. I can see a couple of, okay, I can see a yes. All right, fantastic, fantastic. So we have mixed breed here. We have no, we have yes, which means we still need to tailor it down for everyone so that I can bring everybody on this call up to speed. So fret not, I have a fantastic facilitator with me here tonight in the person of Josephine. So we are going to come up shortly to get us to understand who Scrum Masters are and also understand what JIRA is, okay? So just stay on the call, and by virtue of you being on this call, you're going to have an amazing offer at the end of it. So please just stay tuned while we dive right into it. So because we have a couple of people on the call that said today is their first time of being on this masterclass, I'm going to try to introduce us from the beginning, right? So we are Tenalytics, right? An edtech company that helps Africa and the Black community to get into the tech ecosystem, right? We help the Black community by lowering the entry barriers into all these roles: data analytics, financial analysis, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, cybersecurity, and of course, Scrum Master, which is the main reason why we are here today. And how exactly do we do this, right? Because we understand how the ecosystem works. So we've structured our courses, our curriculum, to be a case study-based curriculum that is going to help you and I to easily transition from your exact job into the tech ecosystem, not minding whether you have a technical background, you studied computer science or anything. We are going to help lower the entry barrier into any of these courses for you. And our facilitators work in amazing places like Apple, McKinsey, Amazon, Google, and our students also work in these places. So that's the amazing thing about this. We've had a couple of programs where our facilitator and one of our students are from the same company. So this is to tell you that it's basically an area where you get people that have little or no knowledge in the tech background that they are willing to transition into. And we help them from the onset, from ground zero, and climb to the expert level. And that is what we want to help you achieve today by first letting you understand who Scrum Masters are and how they leverage JIRA for projects. So we are going to get there, and I want us to jump right into the master class so that we don't take most of your time. So immediately I'm done with the introductions and everything, Josephine is just going to come up and give us a run for it. Let me quickly introduce Adeza and Efemena. So Adeza is the founder of Tenalytics, and he has over a decade experience as a data analytics expert and also as a data scientist consultant in UK, US, Canada, and of course here in Africa, right? And he's had experience in so many sectors of the economy, finance, edtech, energy, and automobile. And it's because of his play in the tech ecosystem where he needed some things and he was not able to get them. And that led him to, founding Tenalytics so that he can lower the entry barrier for the Black community to also enter into this exact field that he is practicing in. And also we have Efemena, the co-founder as well, who serves as a data scientist contractor in UK, US, and Canada. He himself has over a decade experience as a consultant in all these areas, right? He's worked as a data analytics, as a data science, as a data engineer, and of course, as a Power Platform developer. And he has this experience in so many areas. And let me just tell us one amazing thing about our two founders, and it is they do not have a technical background, right? They didn't study engineering, they didn't study computer science. I think Adeza did industrial chemistry, while Efemena studied economics. But today, they both function as full data analytics experts as a scientist and have that initial technical background. So if you are still wondering whether you can be able to do this, I want to assure you that after today, you're going to see that fully, that it's not something that it's very, very hard for you to transition into because we are going to be very hands-on today so that you understand clearly in technical and clear terms how to go about all these things. And people that are going to be taking you on tonight is Josephine. Josephine, I don't know whether you are there. Josephine, if you're there, just by a show of face so that we can know that you are clearly with us here. Hi, Josephine. Hi, Josephine, are you on the call? All right, let me confirm that Josephine is here with us. Hi, Josephine.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, my network is so bad. It's about to rain in my area, but I'm here. I'm fully here. How is everyone doing? Hi. You're doing a brilliant job. Thank you so much.
All right, fantastic one, Josephine. So Josephine is a certified professional Scrum Master that has over a decade experience playing in this agile industry. And she's going to be our facilitator for tonight and we'll get to walk us through the agile, the JIRA project management tool so that we'll get to understand how Scrum Masters leverage this tool, okay? So Josephine is an accomplished agile coach and she played in the financial sector, in the educational sector. She have a track record of success in all these areas, right? And she's also a recognized speaker and a sought-after speaker that contributes to agile community forums. And of course, she is going to be our facilitator, like I mentioned before now. So just stay tuned. So you are going to tap from the wealth of experience that Josephine has. And myself, I'm Chukwuemeka Ekpa, the COO for Tenalytics, and I've played in also a couple of sectors, in the banking sector, in the financial markets, in the hospitality business. I've served as a data analyst, as a control and data protection officer, and also as a model and valuation analyst. I have a couple of experience, close to 10 years experience in this area, right? Playing as governance, risk, and control in some of these areas. So just stay tuned. You have a multitude of a wealth of experience for you to tap on from all of us here on the call. So quickly, what we are going to be doing this night is basically number one thing is to how do we leverage JIRA to build a real life project, right? So that's the main reason why we are here. And what is JIRA? JIRA is basically a project management tool that helps to organize projects end to end, right? And this is what Scrum Masters use on daily basis to make sure that the projects are seen from the beginning of the project to the completion, from the point where the ideation of the exact project comes to the stakeholders' head, to the point where we push it to the market and marketers done, and then continue to review and update. That is what we are going to do today, so that you get to understand that these things are not rocket science, right? It is not something that you have to code. So one key thing that I always tell people is that Scrum Master is actually the easiest and fastest way for you to transition into the tech ecosystem. It's a non-code tech area, right? You don't need to write any line of code, but you also need to also be able to, speak the language of the people that you are their Scrum Master, which is why it's important for you to understand the necessary things that you need to know about a Scrum Master. So once we are done with how to leverage JIRA to build a real life project, we are quickly going to walk you through the pathway to becoming a Scrum Master. You want to be a Scrum Master. How will you do it, right? One thing that most of us suffered before we were able to transition is because nobody guided us, right? We were just rigmaroling round and round and round for a couple of years before we were able to fully now transition into this sector. But by virtue of you having us, you don't have to walk around the ecosystem for 2 years before you can transition. For Scrum Master, I assure you within a couple of 3 months, you'll be a fully trained Scrum Master, and you will also be able to transition. And of course, the number 3 thing we're going to talk about is also our special offer to you. So today is International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day to everyone on the call, especially Josephine. That's my co-facilitator for tonight. Josephine, happy International Women's Day. Josephine,
thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. Excited.
All right. So we have an International Women's Day offer for all the women on the call. So please stay tuned so that you can be able to tap into this offer that we have for you. And the men, don't feel left out. We also have an offer for you, okay? So don't feel we are just giving to the women. No, we also have an offer for the men in the house. So please stay tuned so that you will be able to tap from all these things that we are offering you. And lastly, we are going to touch base with the Eternalities Growth Internship Program, where we also walk you through how we help our students to build their project, their portfolios, organize it together, and get them to have series of projects that they can comfortably claim that they have worked on. So all these things we are going to give you today. Just stay with me, listen to me and Josephine, and you are going to leave this call happier than you came. So Josephine, I don't know whether you are there so that I can take over from me immediately, bringing us up to speed with what we need to do today. Hi, Josephine, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Chukwemeka. You've done a very, very great job. You've done a fantastic work, Chukwemeka. Thank you so much. Okay, so I think I'll pick it up from where you left off, saying that even though it's the Women's Day today, it's an all-inclusive package for everyone, be you a man or a woman, which is great. Everyone gets to benefit, okay? So I just wanted to say, I'll go ahead to share my screen and just talk about Scrum and everything, because what we're going to be doing today is purely hands-on, yeah? So it's totally hands-on. Yes, I'll stop sharing your screen, Chukwemeka, and then move over to my screen if that is okay. All right, so yeah, so talking about Scrum, I heard Chukwemeka saying that you don't need to write a single line of code. I don't know if my screen is visible. Chukwemeka, please help me confirm that.
Yes, it's coming up gradually.
Okay.
It's coming up.
Okay, yeah, so I'm just hoping that the network here is very nice to see me from my end. Okay, so confirm if you can see my screen now.
Not yet. It's still showing that it is coming up. So just it is up right now.
Yeah. Okay, awesome, fantastic. All right, great. Okay, so let me just say that just like what Chukwemeka has said, I personally don't even have a tech background. So I started off as a digital marketer, content writer, and from that career path, I transitioned into Scrum. So I've wanted to be a tech sis, yeah, you know, the buzz and the hype about being a tech sis, which is actually great. And for me, I think it's the idea of being a tech sis is the interest in the tech money. I would even say that because, yeah, there's a whole lot of interesting projects that you get to build as a Scrum Master. But the most important thing is that you are having to access the tech money. The tech money is interesting. So you don't have to be a software engineer. You don't have to follow other routes to be in tech. Personally, I haven't written any line of code in my life. I don't want to write. I feel like it's so strenuous and a whole lot of things come with it. But being a Scrum Master is one of the easiest paths to tech. And the fact that you get to work with every other tech role in the ecosystem makes it amazing. So at the end of the day, you sort of have a very beautiful experience. You understand the expectation from a software engineer perspective. You understand the expectation from a DevOps engineer, from everybody, because in the Scrum team is made up of every other tech career in the Scrum team. You're going to see the engineer, you're going to see the QA analyst, you're going to see the business analyst, and everybody depending on the project. So you're going to work with great people in the tech space, and you tend to know what their job entails being a Scrum Master. So at any point I'm not audible, please let me know, because my weather is really funny right from here. Okay, so today we're going to deep dive into how to use the JIRA platform and build projects. Now, as a Scrum Master, you need to be very familiar with the project management tool. So just like a plumber has his tool, an engineer has their tools, and whatever software that they use in working, the same way as a Scrum Master, you have your tool, which is a project management tool. Now, if you Google, you go to the internet, there are a lot of project management tools. But what's the hype about JIRA? JIRA is fun. JIRA is easy. So if you're a starter, you're a beginner, it's easy to use JIRA. It's easy to understand JIRA. The user experience in JIRA is top notch. And JIRA gives you very detailed data. Now, as a Scrum Master, one of the skills that you need to have is ability to interpret data and to be able to forecast timelines for projects. That makes you very, very, very skilled. Yeah. So who is a Scrum Master in the first place? A Scrum Master is a professional, a coach, a mentor, someone who helps the Scrum team to succeed using the Scrum principles. You are just a custodian of the Scrum principles. And why are you a custodian? And what's the hype about you as a Scrum Master is that you just understand the easiest, most efficient, and effective way of delivering products. So while there may be other strategies, why there may be other ways of delivering products, why is there even a demand, a high demand for Scrum Masters? Is that as a Scrum Master, the organizations believe that you understand the Scrum principles, and these Scrum principles have been tested, trusted, tried over the years, and they are able to deliver products faster. And you see, right now in the world, it's a game of numbers. Is actually a game of numbers. Who gets to the market first takes the large chunk of the market share. And that's what the organization is about, because every organization right here are looking for, how do I get to the market faster? How do I get to my customers faster? How do I deliver faster? Because while you're thinking about it, other people are getting to work. So what is that methodology? What is that method? What is that strategy that gets you to the market faster than any other person? It is the agile methodology, trickle down to the Scrum framework. So as a Scrum Master, you have bragging rights. Your bragging right is that whatever project it is, no matter how complex those projects are, you have what it takes to deliver to the market as fast, as quick as possible. Now, what we're going to be looking at right here on my screen is we have 4 different kinds of projects. Now, I know some persons are going to be thinking, okay, Scrum, I work in the tech industry, you become a tech lead. The truth of the matter is that as a Scrum Master, you are not limited to just working in the tech environment. Saying, okay, the only place I'm going to get a job is a tech company. No, that's a misconception. As a Scrum Master, you can work in health, you can work in media, you can work with the government, you can work anywhere, whatever industry you find yourself, you can work in, and that's why there's a high demand. Yeah, you want to do your due diligence in LinkedIn and see that the demand for jobs, for the Scrum Master job, it cuts across every industry. Every industry needs a Scrum Master, because at the end of the day, organizations are carrying out projects in every quarter, for Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. There's always going to be a project as long as we're breathing, as long as we're on earth. Organizations make money from executing projects, bringing out those projects in the market. And when we talk about market, we're looking at we're not literally talking about market, we're looking at the stores, the iOS store and the Android stores. And funny enough, we've all benefited from projects. Most of us on this call are using one social media platform or the other. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. These are projects that have been executed and are in the stores. And we, the users, are now using this project. So back to what we're going to be looking at today. We have the software development project, the marketing campaign planning. We have the product development for an e-commerce platform, and we have the infrastructure upgrade project. Now, this is diverse projects in different parts. So we have the software project, meaning that with JIRA, with this project management tool called JIRA, you can use it to execute software development projects. And also with JIRA, you can use it for your marketing campaign planning. So even right now in the organization where you're currently working, you can use JIRA. You can execute JIRA in terms of your marketing campaign. Whatever you guys want to do regarding your marketing campaign, you can use JIRA for it. So now it's not just about, oh, it has to be tech, it has to be software, it can be anything. It can even be an e-commerce platform. So when it comes to product development in your product team, and you guys want to execute any project, you can use JIRA. JIRA is, in fact, it cuts across whatever project, as long as it's a project and it has to be executed. JIRA is the right guy for it. And then when you're talking about infrastructure upgrade projects, these are projects that you can take advantage of in JIRA. So I think I'm going to just go into JIRA and let's see how we're going to pick one project here, okay? Mini, mo. What do we pick? What do we pick? Okay, so let's look at the e-commerce platform, yeah? Let's do the e-commerce platform. So at any point that I'm not audible, Chukwemeka, you're my go-to guy here. So let me know, and I'm just going to do something about it. All right, so we're going to be working on the e-commerce project. Yeah, and let me just, say something here quickly, very, very quickly. Remember, I talked about the fact that you can use JIRA for any kind of project. Let me show you that. Yeah, so once you're signed up on the JIRA platform, the good thing about the JIRA platform is that it has a free plan. Before you sign up for the paid subscription, you can enjoy the free plan. And the free plan gives you access to a whole lot of things. You can play with it. It also gives you access to some data. But if you're looking at some much more specific data and metrics, then you have to go for the subscription. Yeah, so let's say we want to even do the marketing campaign planning. So let's say you are in a marketing department currently in your organization and you want to use JIRA. How are you going to go about it? So when you sign up on JIRA, there are other configurations that you need to do, which is easy peasy. Yeah, but it just gets you to this point where I am. So I want to create a project, and let's say in my team, we're trying to start up a marketing campaign for a particular product that we already have on ground. And the first thing I want to do is I want to click on projects. Can you see it here? The place I'm hovering over, project. So once you click on this project, it takes you to create projects. So here you can view all projects. If you have existing projects that you have already created, you can come here, click here, and view all projects. But if you're about to create a new project, this is what you need to do. You come here and create project. So you click on create project. Immediately you click on create project. It takes you to the project template. And this is the most interesting aspect of it, saying that you can use JIRA for any kind of thing. So if you're in the HR department, you're in the finance department, operations, name it, JIRA is that project management tool that you want to use. So now we want to work on a marketing campaign, and here I have it. So we have marketing here, we have project management, we have work management, whatever it is, finance, design, personnel, operations. There is a template. You are in the legal department, you're in the sales department, you're a business analyst, you're into core IT, information tech, or technical lead, or whatever it is you're doing. However it is, whatever department you're in, you can leverage JIRA and maximize it to execute all of those projects. So, but the concern that we have this evening is about the software development. So this is just to show you that whatever thing you want to do, you can use JIRA for it. So back to what we need to do today, which is building an e-commerce project from the scratch. Now, for you to be able to do that, you already created a project. And I have my project titled my Scrum project. Now, in my Scrum project, I want to go ahead to work on the e-commerce store. And for me to do that, I need to have my product, I need to have items in my product backlog. I need to prioritize those items in my product backlog. And at the same time, I need to create user stories and also run a sprint. Now, I know this is a whole lot, but let me take you through it, bit by bit. So let's say you want to make jollof rice. The first thing you want to do is draw up a list. Yeah, if you need to go to the grocery store. So you draw up a list. I want to buy this, that. Sometimes we usually make mental lists. It probably may not just be cooking a food, but it could just be this week, I want to achieve 5 things. I want to do this. I want to sign up for a Scrum training class. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to go to the gym and all of that you want to do. So you make a mental list. Now with Scrum, you need to make a physical list and put it in your product backlog. Now those lists could be your to-do list. We usually have it in our phone. You want to do something and you don't want to forget about that thing, so you put it in your to-do list. But right here, it is a physical project. And for us to be able to do that, we need to put things in our backlog. Yeah. So I'll go to the backlog and add things that we need to create an e-commerce store. So for us to be able to create an e-commerce store, we need to add things in our product backlog, just the same way you write your to-do list and you say, you know what, I want to make jollof rice. So I want pepper, I want tomatoes, I want onion, I want Maggi, spices, whatever it is, you're adding them in your to-do list. So the same way, we're going to add items that we need to create an e-commerce store in our product backlog. Now, the first thing I want to do, I have my backlogs here. I already have items in my backlogs, but these items are not related to the e-commerce store project. Yeah, so I'm going to be focusing on the e-commerce project strictly. So how do you identify a product backlog? This is how you identify a product backlog. This very button that I'm hovering over, this is a backlog. This is your product backlog. Now let's go ahead to create things. A lot of us have used e-commerce stores and we already know what to expect. So when you download any e-commerce store and you want to shop, there are some things that you must do to be able to shop in those stores. So the first thing I want to do is to create my epic. So I hit on create, which is here at the top left here. It says create, this graded blue create. So I hit on create and I want to create my epic. Now the question in your mind is, hey, Justin, what is epic? So epic is a feature, yeah, the main feature that you're working with. And what are we working with? We want to build an e-commerce store. That is the project. So the epic is the bigger feature that we're looking at, the bigger goal. There has to be a goal. When you want to create something in your product backlog, what is the goal? There has to be a goal. And the goal for us this evening is to build an e-commerce store. So the first thing I want to do is to establish that goal in the epic. So we have different levels of issues. Yeah, I know I'm using a whole lot of buzzwords, but yeah, just follow me and you can ask questions at the end of the class. Yeah, so the epic is the bigger issue. We identify epic as issues, yeah? Why under the epic, we have the user story, we have the subtasks, and we have the tasks, in different levels. So let's look at epic as your house. You're currently in your house, or wherever you are, but you are in a building. So epic is a building. And inside the epic, you have different compartments. You have the sitting room, the guest room, the toilet, the bedroom, the kitchen, and a whole lot of things. So this epic that is the bigger house is the e-commerce. And inside the e-commerce project, we want to do a whole lot of things that we're going to see this evening. So let's go ahead. Yeah. Let's go ahead to create our epic. So I click on create, and okay, I just hope my network is being very friendly to me this evening. So I click on create. It should open the user story. Okay, so what I'm just going to do is go ahead to refresh my page and get it up to speed again. Yeah, so like I said, the epic is the goal, and we have a goal this evening. The goal for us this evening is to build an e-commerce store. So once we're able to establish that this is the epic, under the epic, now we need to start creating the items that will enable us build that e-commerce store. Yeah, so I go ahead to click on create. Awesome. So I have that already by the side, and it says summary. The summary here is the goal. So I'm just going to go ahead to say, what do I call our e-commerce store? What do I call it? Any name suggestion? What do we call our e-commerce store? Who wants to bring up a quick suggestion of a name? Chukwemeka, help me with that, because I can't see my screen when they start dropping the names. So who wants to make a suggestion, a quick name? What do we call our e-commerce store? What do we call it? What name is suitable for our e-commerce store? Make a suggestion.
Somebody said Shopalytics. That's our base in B. Shopalytics.
Okay. Shopalytics. Okay, what else do we have? What else do we have?
It just B that I've dropped something. That's
okay.
shop.
So I think, okay, beautiful. I think we're going to go with that. Shopalytics. Yeah, we're going to go with that. Awesome. Shopalytics e-commerce store. So this is us. Okay. I don't know where that went. But hey, guys, I'm prayerful here that I'm very hopeful that my network grants me the space to do what I need to do. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead to refresh my screen again. So once we're able to move with speed, creating our epics, I'll go ahead to break down the tasks that we need to do in the e-commerce store. So the idea, I hope I'm not losing anyone right now as to what we need to do. The idea is to go ahead and create an e-commerce store. Okay, so I already have that. So Shopalytics e-commerce store, and then I'm just going to go ahead to hit create. I wouldn't want to waste much time. I want us to maximize the time we have on this call. So I hit create. I've created the epic. Yeah. So the next thing I want to do is I want to create user stories for the Shopalytics. And I have 7 user stories that I have created already. 7 user stories. So first of all, I have questions of, Justin, how do I even identify what an epic is? How do I identify a user story? So when you click on this drop down, you will see that we have different layers of issues. We have the epic, the story, the task, the bug. Oh no, why is my network acting up here? So all prayers are up here. All prayers are up to make sure that my network behaves. I'm just going to go ahead to refresh my page once again. So like I said, there are different layers of issues. We have the epic, which is the big one. And then under the epic, we have the story, we have the task, we have bugs, and a whole other issues in different cadres. So we have epic, story, task, bug, and yeah, epic story tags and bugs, whatever you want to create, but epic is the major thing. So let's go ahead to create our story. The first user story that we have, I'm just going to go to where I have them written here, just so we maximize time. So I already written down the different user stories that we should have on our e-commerce store. And then I went ahead to create descriptions for that user story and also the acceptance criteria. Now, what is a user story? Just like the word, implies, user story. It is for the user. Now, let me explain that bit. So while you were joining this call, you had a link to this Zoom platform. Now, what you did was you clicked on that link, and then it opened up to this room where you're able to join the platform. So all of those actions you took when they were building Zoom, it was broken down into user stories. That before you're going to use Zoom, the first user story is that the customer is expected to sign up. So you sign up, and then from signing up, then you're able to, you sign up, yeah, and then from sign up, you're able to log in or sign in, whichever the case may be. But you have to sign up on any platform for you to get access to that platform. Yeah, so those things are user story because it is from the user perspective. We are not building the e-commerce store for us alone, or for me alone, or for my family and friends. You're building it for users to use. So what use is a Zoom software if it's not for the user, if it's not built for the user? So that is what a user story is. So in crafting a user story, you're saying that this user story, what I want the users to do in this user story is to be able to sign up. What I want in another user story is for them to be able to log in. What I want in this user story is for the users to be able to carry out so action, whatever action you want them to do. All of those things culminate into one full project that you see. So every action that you take on any application was once a user story written from the user's perspective. Yeah. So I'll have my first user story drawn up. The first user story I want is to talk about helping the users browse the product. So once you're in an e-commerce store, I want users to be able to browse the product, whatever product that they are interested in. I want them to be able to browse effortlessly. So you see it come here. I have one user story that says that the user is expected to browse the product. So we usually do that. Yeah, when we are on any e-commerce store, you want to scan through the products, looking for what you want to buy, what you set your mind to buy, and then you go ahead to buy the product. So what I just did now is to add an epic to my, sorry, give me a minute. I think my battery is low, so I just need to get it plugged in. So what I just did right now is to add an epic to my user story. So this shows that the Shopalytics epic is connected to the browse product. So I'm just going to add a few more issues, creating issues. This is where the word issue that I've been using, creating issues. So when you want to create issues, issues can be called user stories as well. So I'll go ahead to create more issues. I already have them written down. You can suggest any action you want users to take on our Shopalytics e-commerce store. So you can suggest them, and Chukwemeka is going to let me know. So I can also add it. So whatever action you would like users to take, you can suggest them. So I have another user story, which is about searching for products. So I want users to be able to search for products, whatever products they want to buy. They want to buy bags, shoes, they want to buy kitchen items. I want them to be able to search for products. So if you have any idea that you want us to incorporate in this e-commerce store, go ahead to suggest it on the comment box, and I'm just going to pick it up and add it as our user story this evening. Yeah, so I add that to my user story. So I have about 7 user stories. So first one is I want our users to browse the product. search for the product, add items to cart. So the idea is that, well, I want them to browse for the product one. I want them to be able to search for the product. So you browse for shoes, for instance. You want to also search what type of shoe do you want? What size of shoe do you want? All of this is what I want the users to do. I also want the users to checkout process. So now you've added to cart, you want to check out. Yeah, so that is another user story that I will go ahead to create. So I go ahead to create that checkout. If you have other ideas, keep them coming in. I'm going to add them. We've all used an e-commerce store and probably still using an e-commerce store, whatever it is that you've downloaded. So I'm sure that you have an idea of the things, the actions that you carry out as a user in the e-commerce store. So another user story I want to add is order tracking. So I want users to be able to track their orders. They search for products, they've added to cart, they've done the checkout. You want to track your order and see at what point, you know, your orders are, so that you can finally have them delivered to you in your house. So I have 2 more to go, 7 user story, but it could be much more than that if you would add any other one to the list, and we can add it here. So we have one more, which is the account management system. So I want the users to be able to manage their accounts. We usually call it creating your profile. So most of the times when we sign up to any application, download it from the iOS or Android store, you are expected to create your profile. And then with your profile, you're able to navigate every other aspect of the application. So one more thing I have here is the customer support. So this is also important. You want to be able to call the customer support if you have any issues with your order, or you want to, you know, find out more details about the store, or there's a product that you're not seeing in the store. So the customer support is crucial for a whole lot of businesses. And I have it added here as one of my user story, yeah? So we are still in line in building the e-commerce store. Remember that the e-commerce store is a very big project. There are lots of features, but we're going to be focusing on 7 features this evening. Yeah, so I'm going to add the epic. The epic, remember, is the goal. There is a goal. We're not just building from nothingness. We have a goal here, which is the Shopalytics goal. Yeah, so I'm going to add the epic to all of this user story, which is why we're creating the user stories in the first place. So when you see a product in the store, the iOS or the Android store, this is how it was created. It was built feature by feature by feature before we were able to assemble those features together. And then you have a wholesome project that's been shipped to the stores where you and I are able to use it, make our feedbacks, drop our reviews, and as well enjoy the whole user experience. Yeah. So let's deep dive. Let's deep dive into our user story. So one of the things I want to do now is to prioritize it. Prioritizing is about ensuring that you're putting them in the order of importance. Remember that I have other items on this user story. I have the open banking, I have the open banking and the Shopalytics, yeah? So I'm just going to take down the open banking, like pull it down and pull up what I need. So this is how you prioritize a product backlog. You put it in order of importance. What is important? What takes the first seat or the first place? So I'm just going to pull. It works in a pull drop system. Yeah, very simple, easy peasy, and no stress. So I'm just going to pull down the open banking user story. I'm not interested in the open banking. What I'm interested this evening is building some features in the Shopalytics application. Yeah, so I am prioritizing my product backlog. So when you're prioritizing your product backlog, what it means is that you're putting them in order of importance. Just the same thing we actually do. So you make a list. You want to go to the grocery store. You make a list of items that you want to buy, and you put them. It's called a to-do list. And then you get to the grocery store. We all know that inflation is biting hard recently. And you notice that you can't get all the items in your to-do list. So you look at what is in your pocket and say, you know what, I'm going to place it in order of priority. What do I need now? What can I afford? What can my money pay for now? So that is the same thing we do with the product backlog. We put things in order of priority. What are we working on first? What are we creating second? What are we building third? So when we place them in order of priority, we pick them in that format and work on them. Now, the next thing we want to look at is the browse product. Now, this browse product is a user story. Remember that the word says user story, literally for the user. So we're going to be writing the user story from a user's perspective. When we say browse product and a user is on our side, how do we want that user to behave? What are the behavioral patterns in browsing product that we want the user to undertake? Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead to refresh my screen. I see that my network is already acting up, but yeah, hopefully we get through with the training. Okay, so I'm refreshing my screen, and the next thing we want to do is create each of the user stories. Now, I already have that drafted down. There's a whole lot of technique in creating the user story. But what makes a user story? For you to identify a good user story, it's not enough to say, oh, browse product. So what next? What is the user going to do? The user gets to the browsing, your product page where he or she is supposed to browse the product. What next? What would the user do? So at that point, I need to draft my description. I want to be able to say that this and this action is what the user would take. And we actually do these things every day. So if you're on Instagram, there is a go live button. You click on the go live button. The go live button is the user story. And you click on it, it's expected to take you live, make you go live, where you can talk to your followers in real time. So just the same way we've created a user story called browse product. The question is, what do we want the user to do? So in that format, we're creating a description and also creating an acceptance criteria. There is a format in writing a description. There is a format in writing an acceptance criteria, meaning that what criteria, what checks should the user undertake in browsing products? Yeah, what are these checks? So let's look at it. Let's take it one after the other. Let's go to try to move this. Okay, great. So let's create the description. So now this is empty. This user story is empty. There is nothing here. What are we telling the user to do? Nothing. So we need to tell the user to do something. When you see a sign up button in any application, it's basically tell you to perform an action, which says click that button and do something. Now let's put the action aspect of browsing products. So we're going to add the description here. The description is already created, and I'm just going to go ahead to add that. So yeah, my network again, yeah, I'm sure this is already very funny, but like I said, I'm very hopeful to get through with this. Okay, so I'm about to add the description and also add the acceptance criteria. So I'm trying to get this open up and then add the description and acceptance criteria. So it's really important that every aspect of the user story is fleshed out in terms of the actions the user to take. Every action is accounted for in the way and manner you want it to be. It's just like when you're signing up, it gives you different parameters. Add your email, add your full name and your password. Now, there are some applications that you can add symbols as your password. How does that even come about? It started with the user story. So the product owner had already identified from the user story that, you know what, I don't want users to add symbols. to their password. All they need to do is just use alphabet and number. So whatever action that you are taking on any application has already been predetermined. And being predetermined, it starts from the user story. So I don't know what's happening. I think I have a slow network, but I'm just going to go ahead to try to open up another user story and see if I can add the description as well as the acceptance criteria. Okay, so I wanted to make it much more bigger and clearer here. So yeah, I still have my network acting up. You know what? I'm going to come back to this. I already have my description and acceptance criteria written, as you can see here. Excuse me. So I have my description and acceptance criteria written. So I'm going to use this pending when the ticket opens itself. I already, okay, I think it's open. So let me go and see if I can literally add it. It makes it more fun when I'm doing this on the user story itself. Okay, so this is still not opening. All right, that's fine. I'll refresh and let's go back to what I already have drafted down. Yeah. So the first user story is the browse product. Now my description says as a customer, yeah, highlighted here. As a customer, I want to browse through variety of products on the e-commerce platform so that I can explore different options and find items of interest easily. And this is really very simple. When you get to an e-commerce store, there's an array of products. Sometimes you're sort of lost in where you need to go to, how you need to navigate. Yeah, so this is where we structure it and say, we want users as a customer, as Josephine, as Abel, as Chukwuemeka, as Adam. I want to browse through a variety of products on the e-commerce platform so that I can explore different options and find items of interest. Now, we get to our acceptance criteria. This is where we control the behavior of the user. The product owner controls the behavior. So when you're performing an activity on an application, like I said, you're not just the one doing what you're doing. The behavior has already been customized for you to act that way. So it forces you to act that way. So when it says in my acceptance criteria are like checklists, you know, I want you to do this and do that. So if a customer is browsing on our store, this and this is what I want the customer to do. So it says when I visit the homepage, I should see a well-organized display of featured products. So what it means is that you are in our e-commerce store, you're going to see each of the products in well-drafted array. You're seeing them properly documented in the web page. So it says you want the user to navigate through different categories. You want to shop your kitchen items, you want to buy electronics. So there's a drop down for electronics, there's a drop down for kitchen items, there's a drop down for fashion accessories, whatever you're looking for in the e-commerce store, there's a drop down. So this is what it says, that there are different categories, and each category should showcase relevant products. Now, it says here that the product listing should include clear images, names, and brief description for easy browsing. So it's just to help the user experience. I'm just going to go back to my user story and see if I can now add my description. Okay, so try and check that out. Let's see. Let's come to this point and try to add something. Still stuck, it's still stuck. Okay, that's fine. Let me refresh this page again and we'll still go back to talking about the user stories and the acceptance criteria. So the acceptance criteria is saying these are the things. Now, you would agree with me that there are some e-commerce stores that you go to and everything is just everywhere. You don't know where the items are. I mean, it's just all muddled up. Those are not good user experience. You want users to not just be able to browse products. You want them to conclude the sale aspect of it, that they browse product and eventually buy. And sometimes if these things are not well displayed or even well organized, you're going to get angry and just leave the application. So this is how we want the user to behave in terms of the browse product user story. Now, going to our second user story, we want users to be able to search for products. Now the browse products, and the user is interested in kitchen items, for instance. So the user clicks on the kitchen item drop down. I'm just going to quick checker. I want to add this item to all of the user stories that we've created, and it makes it even much more interesting. Okay, so why my network's very slow today. Oh, this is not opening. This is not opening. Let me go back to this page and see if I have that opened. And yeah, okay, you know what? I'm just going to run through it, and hopefully before the end of the masterclass, I'll change my network and have all of that inserted. But good thing I'm able to explain from this point. Now we have the second the user story, which says search for product. Now, what do you want customers to do when they search for products? We need to predetermine the activities that the customers are going to take. So it says here that as a customer, I want to be able to search for specific products using keywords so that I can quickly locate and purchase items I have in mind. Now, the beautiful thing about user story is that I don't want to get bored and say, oh, really? Yes, every application you use, this is how it was built. And you know that we are a fast generation, irrespective of what generation it is, Gen Z, millennial, or whatever. Everybody wants things in quick way. We have fast food, fast cars, fast delivery. Everything has to be fast. So you don't expect users to come to your e-commerce store and they have to think, where can I find utensils? Where can I find shoes? Where can I find caps? Where can I find stockings? Where can I find this? Nobody really wants to, there is no time to think about all of that. So you want to make it very easy peasy. And these are all of the things that are accounted for in the user story. So we're saying here that we want the user to be able to search for products and using keywords. So let's say you want to search for shoe. You just want to type SH and that's it. It comes, or S. Every item, every product about X just, displays for you, just like when you're on Google and you're trying to search for something. Immediately you type S. Immediately you type a particular alphabet. It's very intelligent. The AI algorithm is very intelligent. It starts helping you think. We see that also in YouTube. When you're searching for something in YouTube, you're on the search page and you type something, it's always saying,
Hi, Justin, are you there? Hi, Adam, can you hear me?
Yes, Chukimaka, I can hear you.
Okay, I think we lost Justin for a while.
Okay.
Hi, Justin, are you there?
Yes.
All right.
Ooh. So, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. You're talking about if you want to search for items on YouTube, how the algorithm works. Oh.
My worst fear happened. Okay. So, but yeah, you can hear me now. Great.
Yes, you can.
Awesome. Beautiful. Okay. So thank you for keying me in. So I was talking about searching for items. Yeah. And I was just giving an example about the applications that we use. When you're on YouTube and you're trying to search for anything, immediately you just type the first alphabet. The AI algorithm just starts thinking for you and it helps you make your search easier. You don't even literally have to type everything out. So that's the same thing that we want to incorporate in our search for products here. We want to ensure that when users search for products just with the keyword, bam, they're there. They already see what they want and they go ahead, because it's a game of time and numbers. So when someone is in the e-commerce store, they just want to tap, 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 and get to what they want, buy it, pay for it, and they're out because they need to focus on other things. So we need to, when we're building products, that's the same mindset we have, that, okay, we're going to just make things easy for the user. So we're looking at the acceptance criteria. Remember that I said that the criteria is sort of like characteristics, like checks. What will the user do and will not do? What are your do's and don'ts? What are the expectations from the user? So in this particular search product user story, in the same vein, you know what? I'm just still going to try out. Hopefully that my description opens up here. I'm just going to refresh my page again, because I'm hopeful that we're able to add all of these descriptions, acceptance criteria into our user story. So basically, this is how every product is built, just like brick by brick. And at the end of the day, you have the whole house assembled. So in terms of building applications, we build it feature by feature by feature, carefully, meticulously, looking at the user perspective aspect of that feature and making sure that they are properly articulated for the user. Whew, I still have my network, stuck here. So that's fine. So we'll go ahead to look at the acceptance criteria for the search product. So we want the search bar to be prominently displayed on the platform's interface. We don't want someone saying, oh, where's the search bar? It's so small or so hidden that you can't see it. You'll be able to witness that there's some applications that you use, it's cringing, like it's cringe-worthy. You're like, what? Why do I have to stress myself? Where's the search bar? Where's the sign up? Why is it so small? Why can't I just see it? You understand those kind of things. So we want the search bar to be very prominent, meaning that it has to be very visible. Anybody can see it. We also want the user to enter the keywords in the search bar, and the system should dynamically suggest. So this is what I just said. And this happens in a lot of applications that we so dynamic. It thinks for you, literally. Okay, S, and it's like, oh, everything in S. What do you want to go to? What do you want to do? So that's what we want to achieve here. We also want the search result to be accurate and display product images. So now we're going a step further here. Normally, you search with keywords and you see what you're looking for, but we want it, as you're searching, is displaying the image, is displaying the names and the prices. I think that is really, really beautiful. You're searching for a product. So even before you get to the product page itself, it's already showing you the image of the product. It's also telling you the price of the product. So these are the things that we factor. So just imagine you are in Shopality's e-commerce store, you have downloaded it, and you click on the set page and it's doing all of this. This was factored in the user story. It didn't just happen by itself. Okay, so we have a whole lot of all of this user story. We have add to cart. So I'm just going to run through add to cart. So we want users to add to cart. What is the idea of having users download our application, sign up, log in, have a profile page, be able to browse, search products without actually adding to cart? Because at the end of the day, we want customers to take action from beginning to the end, which means that they are actually buying. They have to buy. The transaction has to end where the customer literally pays for that project. That way we're happy that we have a good and beautiful user experience. So we want the customers to add to cart, which is our third user story here. Now, the description, what do we want customers to do? Add to cart. As a customer, I want to add items. I want to add items to my shopping cart with a simple, intuitive process, allowing me to review my selections before proceeding to checkout. So you want to add to cart. So I'm a girl shopping. I want to add to cart all my shoes, my bag, my makeup items, and some very nice utensils that I bought. So I want to easily add all of them to cart. The whole experience has to be very simple. It has to be seamless. It doesn't make sense. You're building an application that is technical. We are all not technical. As a Scrum Master, I'm not technical. I have zero technical experience. So why do I have to be in Shopanalytics page where I'm adding to cart and I'm seeing a bunch of very rigorous process and all of that? So we want this to be very simple. The key word here is simple and intuitive process, meaning that each of the process needs to be seamless. So I click on this, it just takes me to this, it takes me to the next stage and the next stage and all. So looking at the acceptance criteria, what are the do's and don'ts? How do we want this to actually behave? When Josephine is on Shopanalytics and she's actually at the point where she needs to add to cart, what do we want her to do? We want her to, the first thing we want her to do is each product should have an add to cart button. Beautiful. You need to be able to see the add to cart button. There's some e-commerce store that you're in, and you're literally looking for the add to cart. Where is it? Where is the add to cart button? Oh, you finally find it after squinting your eyes, and it's small and it's probably in an hidden place and all of that. No, it has to be very visible. For marketing purposes, you need to be in the face of your user. So the add to cart button needs to be graded, very visible. You know, when you're trying to sign up, that sign up button is usually very visible and graded. So as you're inputting all the parameters, email, password, full name, it's graded already, saying, you know what, the next thing you need to do is sign up. So that's what we need to do, that once customer is on our add to cart page, this add to cart button needs to be visible. Yeah. So we also want the items to, after adding the items to the cart, a notification should confirm the successful addition, and the cart should update to reflect the item count. So when the customer has added to cart, the next thing we want the customer to see is immediately get a notification. So now we're thinking, should this notification be via email? When we're breaking down this user story, I hope we have the time to break it down because it's a whole lot of process. So when we're breaking down the user story, we need to start thinking as developers. So this is what developers do. All of these things is what the developer is thinking. The engineer, the software engineers are the ones who actually do the work. So this is not your job as a Scrum Master. Yeah, I will probably think someone say, okay, is this what I'm going to be doing as a Scrum Master? No. The developers are the ones who actually do the actual work, as according to the Scrum guide. So now the engineers are thinking that, okay, so when Chukwemeka is on the add to cart page, what do we want to do? We want to be able to send him a notification. Are we sending a notification via text message? Are we sending a notification via email? Or we're sending a notification right there on the application where you see a pop-up that says, thank you, Chukwemeka, you successfully add to cart, and all of the content that we want to put there. So that is what the engineers are going to factor into this user story. Now, the next thing they want to see is the user should be able to view and edit the items in my cart. Yeah, it's okay to change my mind. That's why we're human beings, because I probably may not have enough money, or my taste changed in a bit. If something could inform a user's decision to say, I don't want this, so I'm dropping this off my cart, I need to add. And so that process needs to be very, very seamless. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back to our JIRA platform, and let's look at other things. Yeah, so I've explained all of this should be inside the description. So I'm going to, I'm going to refresh my page again. Hopefully, I have that aspect of my next work sorted out, and we can add all of those items, the descriptions, the acceptance criteria in their respective user story. Now, if I'm able to do that, fine. If I'm not, we're just going to go ahead. Nothing is going to ruin this part here. Okay, so let me try again. Just one more time. Click on the description. Oh, okay. I'll refresh. And okay, so that's fine. Whenever it comes up, I'll try that in, but that will not ruin the party. So what we have all of these user stories, and all of these user stories have been prioritized in the product backlog. Now, let's do the real work. Let's do the real work. The real work is, let's put all of these items that we are committing to. We have about 7 user stories. Let's put them into the sprint backlog. Now, the action starts from the sprint backlog. You know what? We'll do the pull and drop, and then I can explain from that point. So we have the first item. We have the first item. I'm going to pull that and drop into the sprint backlog. Okay, so the way it works is very, very simple. Yeah, you pull and drop. You pull and drop. That's how it works. So I already have my first item, the browse product user story, into my sprint backlog. How do you identify a sprint backlog? A sprint backlog, says start sprint. This is where we want to start the actual work, because in Scrum has different ceremonies. We have about 5 ceremonies or 5 events in Scrum. It is an iteration process. Let me quickly explain the iteration process here. So iteration process works in this manner. I want to make jollof rice. I go create my items in my to-do list, make out the list of items I want to cook, get to the grocery store, buy them. That's my product backlog. For me to buy them, I prioritize those items. And for me to actually buy them, they are currently in my sprint backlog because I've identified the items that my money can buy. So I bought those items, which are in my sprint backlog, because I cannot afford everything in my product backlog. Yeah, stay with me. We're cooking jollof rice. Now they are in my sprint backlog. The next thing I want to do is I'm back home with all these items that I bought to make jollof rice, which is our goal, which is our project. Yeah, and then the next thing you want to do is start planning around the items you want to buy. Am I using turkey? I have turkey, I have goat meat, I have shrimp. What am I using? You're planning the items you want to cook with. Yeah, so that is our sprint planning. That is one event in Scrum that says sprint planning. Literally what we do in our daily lives, we plan. So now I'm in the kitchen, I'm planning, okay, I'm going to pick 4 tomatoes. I'm going to just use this basmati rice. So you're planning around the items you want to cook. And the next thing you want to do is that you eventually start cooking those items. You have different burners and you're cooking the items. And you're looking at those items. Okay, you're making the meat, you're making the sauce or whatever you're cooking. Checking up on those items is the daily stand-up. That is another event. The daily stand-up is an event where you inspect the sprint progress. Are we in line? So you're cooking those items, you're inspecting it, you're frying plantain, you're checking it. You're checking, oh, am I frying the plantain? Is it brown? Depending on the color you want it. You're making the meat, you're checking, oh, is this soft based on how you want it half cooked or properly cooked? That is your daily stand-up, meaning that you're giving updates on what you're working on. Developers are giving updates on what they're working on, and they're in line with the sprint progress. So basically what you're doing in the kitchen is that you're checking up on the things that are cooking in different burners, and you're updated in where they are as per how you want them to be cooked. And the next event is a sprint review. Yeah, I'm going through all the events because I'm going to be using those words and I just want to explain the meaning. So we have the next event called the sprint review. The sprint review event is where you actually demo to the stakeholders. Say, hey guys, I made jollof rice. This is my jollof rice, stakeholders. Try it out, test it, taste it. I mean, how do you feel about it? So the stakeholders give you feedback, right, on the projects or the products that you have built. Same thing happens in the kitchen. Yeah, you finish making the meal, you bring it out, you serve to your family or your friends, and they give you feedback. Say, oh, you know what, this rice is very tasty, sweet rice, well done, good job. Or you have feedbacks that say, oh, I don't like pepper, or there was too much salt, or there was too much oil, and all of that. That is your sprint review. And then the sprint retrospective is taking all of those feedback that your family or friends that you served the food have given. So, okay, I just didn't like the pepper. Chukwemeka didn't like the salt and all of that. So the next time you're making another jollof rice. You're putting in perspective all of those feedback, the same way it happens in Scrum. So right now, we're going to pull all of these items to our sprint backlog. Yeah, I haven't explained all of that. So we're going to pull and drop. Yeah, we're going to pull the search for product item and drop, pull the add to cart, drop it. All right, we'll pull the add to cart and drop the product. So we have about the user story, sorry, we have about 7 user stories. So all of them are what we are committing to for this sprint, which is working on the Shopalitis application. So we're going to pull all of these items and drop it in our sprint backlog. This is actually the items we are committing to for this sprint. Yeah. So we have all of the items now in our sprint backlog, ready to start a sprint. The question is, what is a sprint? What is a sprint? So literally, in the word sprint, more like you have in during the Olympics or whatever sport events, you have the athletes running on track. Sprint is intense. Sprint is fast. Sprint is a time-box duration, and in Scrum, we're looking at different duration, either a 1-week duration, a 2-week duration, a 3-week duration, or a 4-week duration, but it's not more than 4 weeks. So it means that within 2 weeks, for instance, we are completing all of these items, all of these features, we're completing all of them, and we are showcasing them to the stakeholders and say, hey, stakeholders, see what we've been able to do. And once we are done with this, we go back again to our product backlog, create more items. We already should have more items and commit to those items in the next iteration. So hopefully, let's work on this. I want to still believe that my network is going to allow me to do some things. Now, so let's say still can't add any description and acceptance criteria, but that's fine. So let's say we want to break down the browse products. The engineers are the ones who break down the tasks. They are the ones who do the actual work, and this is done during the sprint planning. So the engineers pick the user stories one by one and break down the tasks and how they are going to execute the browse project. The browse product user story. So for them to break down the task, they are going to click on add child issues. Don't forget that because of the network, I'm not able to add the description and the acceptance criteria. I already have them drafted here and we've talked about it, yeah? So, because this place is not expected to be empty. What makes a good user story is having a description and an acceptance criteria. So we're still going to move ahead irrespective of the network, all right? So now we need to break down the tasks. And when engineers are breaking down the tasks, they are breaking down the tasks based on the acceptance criteria that the product owner has imputed into that ticket. Yeah, so let's go back to our acceptance criteria. Remember that all of these should ordinarily be in the user story, meaning that you don't need to flip pages to get to what you want. So now we have this acceptance criteria. We have all of these. Okay, am I not able to highlight? So we have all of these acceptance criteria. And then the engineers are looking at the acceptance criteria. So, okay, this is what product owner wants us to do. So they are breaking the task based on the acceptance criteria. This is the work of the developers in your Scrum team. So it says, I visit the homepage, I should see a well-organized display of features of products. So that's the first acceptance criteria. So we come back to our user story. This is actually done by the engineers themselves. So they have the acceptance criteria in mind, and with the acceptance criteria, they're able to know what to build to deliver the browse product user story. So now you are going to see things like this. So this is just a mock-up. You're in the real world, just to show you what happens in the real world. So you're going to see things like this. Create homepage with array of products. Okay. So you're going to see the engineers break down the task based on create the home page UI. So the front-end engineer is saying, well, you know what, I'm going to create the homepage UI where the users can see the array of products. So now they are breaking down the tasks in how they need to work. So if you're in the kitchen, for instance, cooking, how this plays out is that you're breaking down the work on how you want. So the way I'm going to make my jollof rice is not the same way you want to make. So some other person wants to, you know what, make the sauce differently, make the meat, the protein differently, and all of that. Another person says, okay, the way I'm going to break down this work in cooking jollof rice is I'm just going to, you know, pour everything, the rice, everything's just going to go all in, however they want to do it. So the engineers are the ones who do the actual work. And it is unique to them in how they get to do it. So this is just showing you what happens in the real world. So we create a whole page. So they go back to the user story. So the engineers are looking at the user story. Remember that all of this is inside one user story, yeah? And there's a reason why we're flipping pages. So the engineer says, okay, I can navigate through different categories, and each category should showcase relevant products. So the engineer says, okay, that makes sense. So he says, the next thing I want to do, based on how he wants to work on this task, is going to create a page where it creates a page for products. So it's going to create an API where the product page, it has all the array of products. So this is how the backend engineer is going to think. So in the real world, you're going to be in the sprint planning, have the engineers just discuss and plan around how to get the job done. So I'm going to stop here too. So this is how it happens. In every user story, there's a description, there's an acceptance criteria, and there's a part where the developers are breaking down the tasks. And also there's a part where they estimate the tasks based on the story points. You know, there's a whole lot of strategies to estimating. So developers can say, you know what, I'm giving this a 2-story point, which means this is the time, the effort, and the complexity it requires to deliver the UI for the array of products. And the backend engineer would say, you know what, I'm giving this a 3-story point. When we're talking about story points, we're looking at the complexity. For instance, how long is it going to take you to boil turkey? If turkey is one of the subtasks, you know, in delivering the jollof rice. So we're looking at the estimated time, the effort required, the complexity required. So all of those are estimated into the story points for us to arrive at what story point. There's a whole lot more to this, yeah, that we can sort of talk about within this time. So this is how they break down the task in user stories. They add story points to it and then assign. So they assign the work to themselves. So Josephine say, you know what, I'm going to work on the create homepage UI. Another person says, I'm going to work. The backend developer says, I'm going to work on creating the API that will enable customers see the product page. So this is where you assign, or not you are assigning down, the developers are assigning the work to themselves, assigning the task, how they are going to carry out the work to deliver the browser product. So they're assigning it to themselves. Yeah, so we're going back. Let's go back to our sprint backlog and get to refresh our page once more. I'd really be excited if I'm able to add the description to all of the user stories. Don't know why that's not opening for me right now, but that's fine. We're going to proceed. So I know you're gearing up with your questions. If you have questions, drop them in the message box and I will get to it. Yeah? Okay, so now, we have all of this in our sprint backlog. Can you see this icon? This icon is saying that this task has already been broken down. This particular task, the browse product task, has already been broken down. So we have 2 story points, 3 story points. In a whole, the engineers are saying it's going to take them 5 story points. All of the story points in the task are summed up to give you the correct estimate to deliver the browse product. All of the story points in this task are summed up to now give you and show you the correct estimate. So what it means here is that it's going to take the engineers 5 story points to deliver the browse product user story. Okay, so here and now, what we're going to do is we're going to actually start our sprints today. We need to deliver all these features in 2 weeks so that we can focus on other aspects of the Shopalitis e-commerce store. So I'm just going to add the story points to all of this. So for instance, we're hoping that all of this has been broken down. During the sprint planning, all of this has already been broken down, and the story points has already been added. Okay, so we're going to add each of the story points. We're going to add story points, estimate the story points, estimate the user story, on what it would take to deliver each of these user stories. So for the sake of starting the sprint today, with the knowledge that we have already broken down the tasks with our developers, and now we are going ahead to start the sprint. Starting the sprint means that it is time to do the actual work and create this project, bring it to life. So we're still putting it on how it's going to be, but when we start the sprint, the engineers are actually coding, implementing all of these features, bringing it to life, so that we will show all of this to our stakeholders. So this is not 2. We estimated that this is 5 because we've broken this particular task. So time will not permit us to break all of this down. But the most important takeaway here is that the user stories are broken down by the developers during the sprint planning, and all the story points are summed up, which should give you the total story point for the user story. So now it has already calculated automatically, JIRA has automatically calculated all of the story points. So now we can see that we have a total of 17 story points, 17 story points for all of this. So I'm just going to assign this task to Josephine, but in the real world, the developers are going to assign the task to themselves because they are the ones doing the work, not the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master is to guide the team, help the team succeed, deliver their project faster using the Scrum principles, which we have been talking about for an hour now. So yeah, we have everything ready. The user stories are ready. They have been broken down. We've added the story points. We've estimated the effort that's needed to do the work. And the developers have assigned these user stories to themselves. The next thing we want to do is to start the sprint. And as you can see here, this is a good user experience. I'm able to see this is graded already, showing that I need to click this place. So I click on start the sprint, where the work, it gets intense at this point, where the engineers literally would begin the work. So let me just refresh my page. I don't know why my start sprint button is not activated. Okay, so basically when we start the sprint, this is where the daily stand-up event comes to play, where we are now having a meeting to check up on the developers, their progress. Is everyone aligned to the sprint? Are we doing the things that we need to do? And are we in line with the sprint progress and the sprint goal? I do not know why. I don't know why my JIRA is okay. It's still loading. It's still loading. My network is slow. I hope you guys are able to forgive me and understanding all I'm putting together. Yeah. So yeah. So that has finished loading. Okay. How am I not able to?
I just finished.
Hi, Chukwemeka. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome.
About to say
So I think I'm just
rounding up so that I can come in from here.
Oh, I wish we had all day. This is really, really interesting. I don't know if there are questions already. Okay, that's fine. We're not able to start our sprints in this session. Hopefully we'll carry it over to the next. So I'll go back to before I actually go back to the slides, one more thing, guys. I shouldn't skip this. I need to say it. We look at also the reports. Now, one of the beautiful things about JIRA is that you have data. So when we start our sprints, we're able to check the reports. It's going to tell us how we're working. The way and manner we're working is going to give us figures. And this is what the stakeholders want. The stakeholders don't want you to assume anything. They want you to be able to tell them how the engineers are burning the work, how they're doing the work. So with this report, you're able to say as a matter of fact how the work, the project is progressing and how the engineers are doing the work. So we have a lot of reports that you get to see. We have the burn-up reports, the sprint burn-down, and the velocity. Now, the burn-up reports is a metric that shows you how the engineers are burning up the story points. So I'm hopeful that in our next masterclass, if the bosses permit, we can continue from here, because I want to be able to show everyone what we've been able to do in our sprint and explain this report. Get to see. So the burn up report shows how the engineers are burning up the work in terms of the story points. Then the burn down chart shows how we are burning down the work. So when I click on that start sprint, the sprint is expected to start within the 2 weeks duration. So you're able to see at the back end here how they are burning down the work, user story by user story. It's giving you time, it's giving you every data that you need, it's picking up everything. And now we have the velocity report. The velocity report shows you the pace at which the engineers are consuming the work, what they have committed, what we are completing, and it's able to inform our decision on the next iteration. So yeah, this is about the report, but I'm hoping that in our next masterclass, we are able to take a deep dive into this report and, talk about it even much more better. So moving back to our slides, I don't know if my screen is visible. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So moving back to our slides, we have so you're able to click here for the web link. You're able to click here for the web link for JIRA. Yeah, so if you want to access JIRA, you can request for the material. I'm sure there are things that you need to do. Probably it's going to be there on the message box. So probably you need to sign up and request for the material where you get the link to JIRA. Yeah, so you can also look it up. Okay, and like I said, JIRA is just one out of the project management tools. So we have other project management tools. We have Trello, we have Azure DevOps, we have Confluence. So all of these project management tools, there are different types, but JIRA is the most popular. So 9 out of 10 organizations use JIRA because it's very easy. Even if you're a newbie starting, JIRA is like, it just helps you navigate through whatever you're looking for. So, and then JIRA is very detailed in terms of analytics, in terms of metrics, in terms of giving actual reports and helping your team to deliver value as that when due. So whatever you're looking for JIRA, it is there. So it's very, very detailed to the core. And that is why most organizations actually prefer JIRA. Yeah, so but there are other project management tools that you can use. You can also use Trello. So even for your day-to-day activities in your current organization where you're currently working, you can adopt this project management to start using. It makes you much more efficient, and it helps reduce the long hours in meetings, your traditional meetings that you do. Meetings are even more productive when you're able to show insights with your project management tools, and your team is even much more efficient. So I would advise and encourage everyone to try out these project management tools, and it's really going to be effective. Okay, so this is where I pass the ball and the baton. So Chukwemeka, and also take questions if there are any.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Josephine. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. What an amazing session. I don't know if you're still following us up till now. That means you are already interested in what we are talking about, right? And if you're still here and you're still following us attentively, please can you just drop a 1 so that I will be sure that you're still here. before we walk you through the pathway to becoming a Scrum Master, right? What Josephine just talked about tonight is just a glimpse of what you're going to get. There's no how you're going to be fully adopted and learn everything that you need to know as a Scrum Master in one night. The possibility is zero, right? So if you are interested, if you are still here on this call and you are you really are following us and you want to be part of our next Scrum Masters, please, this is the moment that you need to pay attentive so that you understand what you need to know. Right. So for Scrum Master, Josephine has done justice to everything that you need to know. So I'm going to just walk you through what our program is like here at Analytics, right? So for the Scrum Master program, it is 100% online learning. It's virtual instructor led. So you're going to have a facilitator like Josephine and myself in the class, walking you through all that you need to know, right? And it's also a hands-on practical session with exercises and projects. And what this means is that you're not just going to come to class and we'll be telling you, okay, this is what product backlog is this, sprint planning is this, sprint is this. No, you are going to be doing it in the class with projects. And these are real life projects that sometimes we get from clients, and then we just have to codify them with different names and give to our students to also work with it, so that they get their hands dirty with real life case studies. And also you have lifetime access to materials and experts. By this lifetime access, what do I mean? So even though the classes are online and virtual led, they are also recorded sessions, right? That you always have access to that recorded version. Once you go to your Google Classroom, just log into your details and you have access to everything that has been taught in the classes. So this means that even if you're on the job and you forgot something, you can always go back to the classroom and watch your videos and look at the materials. If you miss a class, the live classes, you can always have recourse to watch the videos and read the materials as well, so that you'll be ready for the next class. And for the Scrum Master program, we have close to more than 10 classes and on 20 topics, which I'm going to walk us through. And for the salary of average salary of Scrum Masters in UK, it ranges around £2,500, right? And this is just the average. And after you are done with the Scrum Master program, you'd have at least 5 projects to add to your portfolio, right? In the classes, you are working with projects. After the classes, you have a capstone project that you also get to work with. And then you also enter our internship program, where you have tons and tons of projects that you are going to work on to add to your portfolio. And of course, we are giving you 100% job prospect visibility. There's one thing that we always tell people that tech is all about. It's all about competency over certification, right? So there are people that have been asking us, okay, what do I need to do to get into Scrum? Do I need to write my PSM to get into Scrum? That is actually not the best way. That is you putting the cart before the horse, right? So what we always advise people to do is try and get the competency, get the skill, know what you need to do, and then get the job, and then move for extra knowledge where certifications now come in, right? So these are things that we expose our students to and equip them with all the in-demand skill for them to thrive in the job places. And of course, after you're done with our Scrum Master program, you can easily also write your PSM certification. And the Scrum Master program is also a 1-month training program that lasts from beginning of the month to the end of the month. Then the next month, you have what we call 1 month internship, where you also get to work with lots of projects that you are going to equip in your portfolio. So basically, let me just walk us through how you can become a Scrum Master with us. Firstly, we are going to walk you through Introduction to Scrum, where we get to talk to you about, okay, project management. It's all about waterfall and agile, that you get to understand the origin of Scrum, right? And from that, we now move to you to, okay, agile is divided into, you now have the Scrum methodologies, you have the Lean principles, and so on and so forth. So basically, we are going to walk you through from ground zero to the expert level. So even if you do not have any prior knowledge of Scrum, by virtue of you being in the Scrum Master program of Analytics, you are going to gain the full knowledge that you need. There's something that someone that transitioned into business analysis said, that she didn't have a tech background. that analytics was the degree that she needed to transition, right? So these are the things that we equip you with, all right? From the introduction to Scrum, you get to move to the Scrum flow, and then the Scrum theories and values, the Scrum team, the Scrum artifacts, where you get to work with and the product backlog, increments, and so on and so forth. And then development, you move to increments and sprint backlog, where you now start working on sprints, and then sprint planning and the sprint itself. From there, you now move to developmental work and daily Scrum, where we'll get to teach you how to actually organize a daily Scrum, right? You are the Scrum Master in a team. What do you do every day when you come to work, right? And then you now move to sprint review. From there, you move to sprint retrospective, where you look at the entire sprints that have concluded to know if there are things that you need to have. And of course, you also get to work with the Nexus scaled Scrum, which is the better of them all, right? That place will expose you to all that you need to know in order for you to become a Scrum Master. And once we walked you through all these topics, you are ready to be a Scrum Master. So you see, in simple steps, we've already defined and mapped out your journey for you to easily transition from the current role that you have into the Scrum Master role. So, and remember all I've been saying since, that this is a non-code tech area. Everything that Josephine did, she didn't write any line of code, but you are going to be working with people that are writing this code. You are going to serve like the intermediates between the stakeholders, or the Cs, CEOs, COOs, CMOs, and the technical team, because you are the one that they are interfacing with, asking, okay, Josephine, how's the project that we are working on going? And here you've already, established all that you need to learn one by one. Remember, Josephine talked about the burn up and burn down charts. So these are things that you are going to learn on the third week in the course, right? So basically, everything that we try to walk you through today is something that you are supposed to learn in a window of 1 month, right? So once you join the program, from the first Saturday, we are already giving it to you, starting from introduction to Scrum, moving you to other areas of Scrum, so that in the end, you will now become a full Scrum Master. Now, why should you train with us? Basically, over the years, we've had a couple of achievements for ourselves, which we brag with, right? We have trained over 2,000 people, and we've helped these people transition from the classroom into getting their first job. And these people lie across UK, US, Canada, Europe, and Africa. And we have a track record of success over the last 4 years, right? And we also have industry standard facilitators and curriculum. We are going to have real life Scrum Masters that are working currently on projects in their own organizations come to the classroom to teach you with real life experiences, right? And our training method is blended in such a way that we'll have live classes, one-on-one, the way we are conversing right now. That's the way your classes are going to be. And also we have the videos online for you to watch after the classes. And the sessions are tailored in such a way that is going to position you for your first job. Because there's no how you are going to work with JIRA, work with Trello, work with Confluence on real life projects and not be able to land your first job. And also we have what we call CV review sessions, LinkedIn optimization session, and interview preps, where we also equip you with employability skills that are going to help you land all these things. That's not all, right? We've also tailored everything to make you successful in the job market into 3-layered approach, which I'm going to walk us through, right? Number one, like I mentioned initially, is the CV review session, where we get to review your CVs. We'll have sessions where we teach you how do you tailor your CV to match the job that you need to get. Because one thing we've noticed in the past is that people tend to, once they have one CV, they're instantly using the CV on LinkedIn, easy apply, click, 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 click. So it's about quantity over quality. So we are going to teach you how do you tailor your CV to match a job, right? Because the truth is that if you have the skills for a role, your CV is going to get to the door before you come in. So your CV is just like a walking signboard of you. And if it's not tailored and matched in such a way that it's going to open door for you, you may not be able to get there. So your CV needs to be in such a way that it will pass the ATS system, that's applicant tracking system, and then you will now be invited with the skills that you already have. You can easily defend the CV that you've already presented. And we'll have the LinkedIn optimization session, the Upwork optimization, where we also equip you with everything that you need to know. A friend of mine joined one of our programs, and 1 month into the program, she received, after they finished their LinkedIn optimization, a recruiter reached out to her, and then she didn't take the role. And that's because she's still a student in UK. So her working hours is not limited, right? But this is to tell you that even right in the class, once you have done 1 to 3 of our employability services, you can instantly start applying for jobs and you'll be getting call-ups, right? I'll also teach you how to navigate the job market. We're going to equip you with relevant links that you're going to use for this. And if you have an interview, we also have facilitators from companies prep you for this interview. And if there is need for you to have a recommendation letter or reference letter, we also make these things available to you. Now, the level 2 of this employability services is basically our weekly mentorship sessions, where we have sessions where we invite experts in this exact field that you are in to talk to you on the challenges they are going to see in the field. How do you navigate these challenges? What did they do during their own time that helped them, so that you're not going to face that exact issue that you have? So this is like creating mentors for you that are going to have a direct link to for easy access in anything that you need. And we also provide on-the-job support that 1 month into your job, if you are still finding it difficult to transition, we are there to help and assist you with things that you need. And of course, number 3 of this tailored approach is our promise to you, right? Once you've completed all these 8 steps and you are also completed with your skill equipment, the competency training, we guarantee you 1 job interview 1 month after you completed your program with us. And why we're able to do this, because of this initiative we have in 2024, which is number 3 here, partnership with recruitment agencies in UK, Canada, US, and other countries, right? We have a pool of students where recruiters from Robert Half, from Harvey Nash, from Michael Page reach out to us and say, okay, we need so and so in this country for a Scrum Master role. And we are able to, from our pool of students, say, Josephine, Chukwemeka, you send your CV to this place for interviews, right? And we also have enhanced internship experience where we've modeled our internship such a way that you have real life case studies that you are working with to add it to your portfolio, so that once you go for interview, you can comfortably say, okay, I've worked on this project. I was among the Scrum team that was able to do the e-commerce platform project, and we have the body mentorship hub. So basically what this one entails is we invite students, past students that have passed through this exact process that you're passing through, that have received jobs, to come back to classes and tell you how they were able to navigate all the challenges. And this is what they did. This is what they did not do that made them land jobs. So you're going to be hearing from the horse's mouth, people that were once like you. They've passed through the program, they've secured jobs, and they're coming back to give back to you so that you get to understand how they were able to navigate their own time. And of course, like I mentioned initially, we'll equip you with the jobs, how to navigate job applications. So you are seeing work as a freelancer or fully remote as a Scrum Master and earning dollars. So once you get this slide, please ensure to fill the attendance that my colleagues are dropping in the chat box so that you get recording of this session and also the slides. Once you get it, you can easily click on these places to watch how do you land remote jobs. So these are things that we have made out, we've done research, and we are equipping you with all the knowledge that you need to land everything that you need. And of course, we're also going to teach you how to navigate all these remote job sites: LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Bulletin, Upwork, Indeed, Wellfound, and Remote.co. So basically, all these things is to make sure that we are not just giving you the competency and skill that you need, we're also equipping you with the employability skills that will help you navigate the job market. And like I mentioned, by virtue of you being on this course to this moment, we'll have discounts for the first 300 women and 50 men that is going to register for this course, right? So initially, our courses from Scrum Master is $450, $630 Canadian dollars, and £375 and 540,000 naira. But by virtue of you being on this call, you have a discount, a 50% discount. And that means you are going to pay $225, 315 Canadian dollars, 117 pounds, 50 shillings, or 270,000 naira for you to be fully equipped as a Scrum Master. Trust me, quote me anywhere. You can't get this deal anywhere else. And also packaged with the employability services that we are going to provide for you. Trust me, you can't get this everywhere. And the classes are basically on Saturdays in the morning by 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and on Sundays in the afternoon by 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. West African time, right? All these are in West African time. Now, how do you make payments? If you want to make payments and you want to know, so my colleague Lydia will also drop the main stack link in the chat box so that you can easily be able to make payments. But I'm going to walk us through it right now. So once we click on the main stack link, it's going to take you to the site. All right, let me share it so that we all understand the ease of making payments as well. So once you click on the main stack link, it's going to bring you to this exact page that is called Analytics Enrollment Center, right? So what you have to do is just for you to come to this place called that you have all the programs that we are offering. Click on Scrum Master, which is the first one. Once you click on Scrum Master, it's going to bring up the page for you to make payments as well. Now, depending on the location of where you are in, right? Because the site is already mapped to locate where you are staying. The payment you are going to be made will be the currency of that location, right? So because I'm in Nigeria, the option I'm going to see here is the Naira payment option. If you're in UK, you're going to see the pound payment option. If you're in Canada, you're going to see the Canadian payment option. If you are in the US, you're going to see the dollar payment option, right? So once this comes up, I'm going to put the 270,000 naira payments because I'm in Nigeria, right? So 270,000 naira and click on reserve a seat. So once I click on reserve a seat, it's going to bring up here where I put my name, Chukwuemeka, and then my email address, chukwuemeka@gmail.com. Then select my country flag, where I will select my country, Nigeria, and then put my phone number and click on proceed. So once I've filled all this, it's going to direct me to the place where I can make payments. Remember, you are going to see the currency of the country that you are currently located in. So if you're in Nigeria, you're going to see Naira. If you're in UK, you're going to see pounds. So what I'll simply do at this moment, if I want to pay with my card and put my details and pay with my card, if I want to pay with transfer, I'll just simply click on the transfer option and make transfer to this Paystack Titan for checkout. So once I've done this, you have secured your spot, right? And remember, this exact thing is not for everyone. It's for the first 300 people that registered for this course. And the truth is that we've been running this program since Tuesday, and I will assure you that the 300 has been totally depleted, right? The 300 has been totally depleted. So once you've made your payment, next thing that you need to do is to go back to the main stack link and upload your payment receipt, which is here. So once you've made your payment, go back to the main stack link and upload your payment receipt here, right? Click on this, upload your receipts here, and then upload your receipt and fill your details, and someone from our team is going to reach out to you with the welcome package for everything that you will need to do, right? So that will be the completion of your payment option. Remember, it is very important that you take advantage of this opportunity that I have right now, because after this session, trust me, it will be hard for you to get this value anywhere at the exact amounts that we are offering it, right? So please try and take advantage of this make use of this opportunity that I have right now and use it extensively. The truth is that you can also make this payment, and we are going to possibly, sorry, can you guys still hear me? All right, I'm back on. Hi, Adam, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, I can see a couple of chats. Yeah, fantastic. So once you are done making payments and you've clearly received, it's at that point that we are going to reach out to you with the welcome package and everything that you need to know. Our next cohort starts on April 6th, 2024. So it is important that you take advantage of the opportunity that you have right now to get into the class to become a full Scrum Master. Now, you see a couple of newspaper publication on what we've done in the past. Basically, I think this is the number 31 here is what we did last year, which is the Analytics gives tech scholarship to over 300 women. So this is what we normally do every year. And trust me, within a week of us starting this program, we always have the slots totally filled. So please try and take advantage of it right now by virtue of you being on the course, so that it's not at the point of where you want to make the payments, you'll be hearing things like the slot is totally filled. So this discount is fully for the first 300 women and 50 men that will serve as support to our international women. Now, all these things always seem impossible until it is done. So we have a couple of stories here to make you understand that it is not just cook and book story that we're cooking up here. These are things we have Ini. Ini was able to land a job as a CEO of a tech company after joining Analytics. Now, the beauty of Ini's story is that Ini went for a managerial role, but after he was done presenting, because they have to do skill assessments, he was asked whether he can be the CEO. Now, these things always seem fun and it's not possible. These are things that we experienced in the past, okay? And we have Nathaniel that have been able to transition to become a business analyst. We have Efe that have also been able to transition to a business analyst. So I'm going to play one video for us so that we also get to understand that these things actually do happen. So I'm going to play Ikmat's. I'm going to play Ikmat's video so that we get to understand what Ikmat had to say about us. All right, it's coming up gradually. It's coming up. Okay, yeah. Please confirm when you can see my screen. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Sàrò nìkan lèmi wá. Sàrò bí ibò. Ìbòdè ọ̀. Ṣé eré gbogbo làásìgbò tí ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú ìwà yìí? Ìbínú àkàlà ló fẹ́ gbogbo.
All right.
Hi everyone, my name is Ikmat, and I was with the March cohort in Analytics, and joining Analytics has been the best decision so far. You know, for me, someone coming from a background of full housewife, because I had to stay back home to look after my child for 4 years, and then wanting to break into something new, wanting to go back into the workforce, you know, wanting to place myself in the society for better job opportunities. So it was a lot. And then I'm glad that Analytics came along, and then they presented me with so many opportunities right in front of me, better opportunities. And then I'm glad I took it. And then also the advice of do not sell yourself short, that Efe is always saying, it is very, very valid, because place yourself right, you know, don't sell yourself short. It's a very, very, very valid advice. You know, in Analytics, they will hold your hands like a child, you know, through the modules. You have the opportunity to go back and study. You have the opportunity to go back and practice. You have the opportunity to ask questions. You know, we have people you can always go back to, even outside of class hours. It's the most amazing experience so far, really. And then another thing is the interview prep, guys. That is another very important thing. I did my interview prep with Mr. Mohammed, and it is the best decision ever because it was like he saw into the future. He knew what was going to be asked. And I'm glad that I wrote down all the things he mentioned. I went back to practice, and then when it was time for the interview, it was like everything he was mentioning, everything he mentioned, it was just, they kept on. And then when I was answering those questions, I was so confident, because I already practiced. I did an Excel test, I did a maths test, and then they were really impressed. And another thing is, guys, it may not come as fast as you expect. Definitely you are going to get some no's, and then you may begin to think you're not good enough. You are good enough, yes. The no's will come, but always take it as a basis for learning and development, because after every interview where I got a no, I always make sure I get a personal feedback. So I work on those feedbacks for my next interviews. And yes, it worked. It really worked for me, because I got my first job 3 months into the program, my first job. But I couldn't take up the job because I was a student and I was only eligible to work 20 hours. So I couldn't take up the job. 3 months later, I got 2 jobs with full visa sponsorship. And guys, all the other no's before the 2 jobs prepared me for the yeses I got. So yes, the no's will come, but do not give up, because you always have Analytics to go back to. They are the best and the best thing that ever happened to me. And then yes, and they are the most affordable. The most affordable one I've come across so far. And that's a very good advantage. So yes, Analytics for the win.
Yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Ignat, and
fantastic. So basically, if you listen to what Ikmat had to say, she was able to secure 2 jobs while she's still in the program, but she wasn't able to take it because of school. And then after the program, she also secured 2 other jobs that offered her full visa sponsorship, that she now has to select the one that fits what she needs totally. So what I'm saying to you is that you need to take advantage of this opportunity, right? Take advantage of what we're offering right now so that you can be able to say something that Ikmat had to say. I don't know if there's anyone that has a question. This is your time to ask us any question that you want so that we can answer it for you before we call it a day. So please make sure that you fill the slide, make sure that you fill the attendance form so that you get the recording of this session and also the slide for this session, so that you can go through all the testimonials that what people have to say about us, so that you also see what past students that have trained had to say. Like I always mention, it always seems impossible until it is done. So these success stories, they are all here to make you understand that it is possible. We've had lawyers that were able to transition from normal law into business analysis. We've had people that transitioned from banking into data analytics, and we are prepping you to transition into being a Scrum Master. So I don't know whether there are any questions in the chat box, or you can use the raise hand icon, and we are going to take your question. Verdict is asking, how do we know if you haven't got into the first 20%, first 50%? So Verdict, the thing is that once you're about to make payments and you didn't see the option of reducing that amount, then that means that slot has been totally filled. But you don't have to wait till this happens. I'll advise you to try and take advantage of this opportunity, because we've been doing sessions since Tuesday that we rolled out this International Women's Day scholarship for men and for women. And I will assure you that the slot is almost taken. So please take advantage of it right now by virtue of you being on this call, so that you are not going to have a letter story to tell. So I don't know if there are any questions. If you have a question, please use the raise hand icon and I'm going to call you up to speak. All right, we have Adeoshun, we have B, we have Benjamin, we have Christian, we have Dare, we have Iska, we have Joshua, we have iPhone, we have Onyeka, we have Roger, we have Tufts Management School, and we have Udwak, and of course, Verdict. So please, if you have any question, this is your time to raise your hand, and we are going to take it from. Benjamin is asking, once the sprint starts, do developers then log into the same system to update what they have completed at the point? Is this where you're able to get data that feeds into the burn down velocity reports, etc.? Justin, I don't know that you're still on the call. If I should take this one. Hi, Justin, are you there? Okay. So, Benjamin, so basically, once the sprint starts, everyone have what we call the daily scrum, right? And it's in this daily scrum that people get to give account of what they did yesterday, right? So, depending on how your company structured its daily scrum, weekly scrum, there everybody gives account of what they've done. And after it, the JIRA board is expected to be updated. Okay, please enable the unmute button. Okay, Josephine, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to do that right now. All right, Josephine, you have enabled the mute button right now. You have the floor, Josephine. I don't know that you can speak now.
Okay, yes. Finally, since the host is able to. Okay, great work. Thanks that you're already answering the question and you've done justice to it. So I'm just going to add to what you have said, Chukwemeka, that once the sprint starts, the developers have access to the springboard. The springboard is visible to everyone. Yeah, so once you hit on start sprint, everything is going to move to the springboard. And the developers have access to it. So they're able to see in real time how the work is progressing. And that's why during the daily stand-up, it's an opportunity for us to inspect what's going on. So as a Scrum Master, during the daily stand-up, you come to the daily stand-up and share your screen just as the way Chukwemeka is sharing the screen and showing the springboard. And the springboard shows us, okay, this is still in to-do, this is in progress, code review. We're just able to see where every work is at. Yeah, and then as the developers are giving their updates during the daily stand-up, this is what I did yesterday, this is what I'm going to do. It's visible to everybody. So transparency is one of the things, is one of the pillars of Scrum. And when it comes to transparency, we're transparent with our tools, which is a project management tool. Yeah, and then you talked about that point, is this where you're able to get the data? So as the sprint is ongoing, the data will be at the back end where you click. See that point where I clicked on reports. So all you need to do as the Scrum Master is click on reports and you see how the work is being burned up, burned down, and you're going to see all the data that you want to see. So as the sprint is ongoing, the data will just keep coming in and you're able to see them in real time. Yeah. So over to you. Thank you so much, Benjamin. Over to you, Chukwemeka.
All right. Thank you so much for that answer, Josephine. Benjamin, I hope that answers your question clearly. Thank you very much. That's very clear. All right. So I don't know whether there are other questions. How do I register? How do I join the program? Just ask us so that we can take it right now before we call it a day from here. Okay, guys, you have the floor. You can use the raise hand icon, and I'm going to ask you to unmute so that you can speak. All right. Any question from anyone? Hi, Adelshun. I've asked you to unmute. I don't know if they have any question for us. Apo Mujare Adelshun. I'm bad with names. I'm sorry about that. No question from you. Hi, B. I've asked you to unmute. I don't know if they have any question for us. Okay, I think everybody understood everything that we said today. So guys, thank you so much for being in this session. Okay, I'm seeing a chat drop. Please can the link for registration be sent to our mail? We are dropping the link right now. And if you fill the attendance sheets, we are going to send you the masterclass slide and also the recording. So you are going to get it. So for the fact that you filled the attendance sheet, you are going to get it. So please, if you've not filled the attendance form, try and fill it right now so that you will get the recording of this session and also the slide that we use for this session where you can see the link to easily make payments. All right, thank you for that question verdict. Any other question from anyone? Question, comment, clarification, we are here for you before we call it a day. Hi, Onyeka. Hi, Roger. Hi, Utwak. Do you have any question for us? Hi, Iska. Hi, Christian. Hi, Dari. Any question from your end? You can use raise hand icon, or you can drop your question in the chat box, and we are going to pick it up from there. Okay, in the absence of any other question, Josephine, I don't know whether you have any last comments before we close from here.
Yeah, I do. So I just want to say that which you have actually talked about at the beginning of this session, that Scrum is one of the easiest way to, get into tech. So if you want to be a tech sales, a tech bro, this is the opportunity where you don't even need to write a line of code and you are a Scrum Master and you earn as much as a software engineer, and the pay is great and there is high demand. Yeah, the demand for Scrum Masters is high. One of the way you get to know is through your LinkedIn page. You can go to your LinkedIn page and check the jobs for Scrum Masters keep coming in and the demand is there. So you want to upskill, yeah, whatever career path you're in right now. I wasn't really a tech person. I came from the digital marketing content background, and here we are and we're still growing and we're making the money. And like I said, the money was the main driving force, and we're here building great projects here. So this is an opportunity. Don't procrastinate. Start now. Start at this point where you are. Start learning, enroll into the program, and in 3 months from now you will be very proud of the things you already know, what you can achieve and do with those things that you know. So build up your knowledge base and transition immediately. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope to see you in the next masterclass.
All right. Thank you for that last comment, Josephine. So I'm going to close down from here. Guys, please remember that this discount is not forever. And in after April, you may not see things like this again. In May, you're going to see the prices go back to the full amount or even higher because of the economic changes, right? So I always advise people to try and take advantage of this opportunity so that you are going to easily transition to becoming a Scrum Master at a minimal expense to your own side. So if you are still contemplating about this, get the materials that we use, watch the success stories, make your decision, fill the attendance, and someone is going to reach out to you. So guys, this is where I will draw the curtain for the night. I hope to see you in class come 6th April 2024. Cheers, everyone, and do have a wonderful night rest. Bye, guys.